Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show you all how to create a walk cycle. Um, I'll break this down into two videos. I'll do one animating the legs, getting the legs to move, and walking. And then the other thing I'm going to do in the other video is we'll animate the upper body. But we all know you can't walk without legs. I had an old animator tell me this once, and I thought it was super useful. That if you actually break it down a walk cycle, what you're really doing is falling forward, and you're catching yourself with your foot. So, especially if you were to look at a baby walking. A baby walking is literally, how many times does a baby fall over while trying to make its first steps, right? So what over time we've trained ourselves to walk so efficiently that we don't even think about it anymore. And let's just go ahead and get started. Now, one of the first things I want to show you is I pulled up. Let me zoom in. I've pulled up this little walk cycle key pose chart, basically. I believe this is. I found this on Google, but I believe it's straight out of the Animator Survival Kit by Richard Williams. Um, Now, this particular um, breakdown, if you will, is composed of just a number, 5 poses altogether. So we have the contact pose, the down pose, the passing position, then we have the up pose, and then we go back to contact. Now we have to do this twice, basically, because we have to do the one leg. This is just with one leg sort of leading forward, if you will, and then we'll continue that same exact thing one more time, but with the opposite leg leading forward. So super useful to have this open, or check it out. I'm going to pop it up in every once in a while as I'm continuing this animation. Now the first thing I'm going to do is right in here. I'm going to start by turning my shading and X-ray joints off, and I'm going to turn off my wireframe on shaded, and I'm also going to turn off my X-ray mode. I can even turn on my texture. I'm going to keep it in my legacy default viewport, and we'll do the same here. Oh, I already have that one there. And then I'm going to turn my shading, wireframe on shaded off, my X-ray off, and my X-ray joints. I can do the same for this one also, because actually the top view is very useful also. So now I've got my character here, front view, side view, and perspective view. And it's really good to just double check to make sure you're not going to accidentally select anything. So these layers come in really handy right now. So we're going to make sure on IK handles you have it on R, renderable. You can even turn the visibility off. Same with the blend shapes layer. Same with the reverse foot joints. We can put that on R and hide it. The character joints we need to have, but we're going to turn that on R also. Stands for renderable, but you cannot accidentally select it. Even with this part of this joint kind of peeking through, I still can't select it. So it's basically like it's locked. It's like a locked layer. You can see it, but you can't do anything to it, and that's exactly what we want. And then we have our base mesh, and we're just going to set that to renderable also. Okay. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply begin to animate. So coming back to our image here, our first pose is going to be the contact pose. Now it's entirely up to you which leg you'd like to lead forward with, and actually the side viewport is really useful in this particular fashion. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to bring I'll bring this foot forward. I already started to, and I'm going to bring the heel raise up. And I'll even bring it a little bit more forward. And this is entirely dependent on the scale of your character. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring this one backwards. You'll notice that knee pop a little bit. We're going to do ball raise here. And you notice we get that nice clean bend in the leg. And it's super, 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 super useful. So if we go ahead back here and check out our contact pose, you'll notice we have that toe bend here. We have the heel here, and that leg down. This is really exaggerated. However, it definitely does serve its purpose. So anyway, I'm going to just continue this. And what I've done is I've just shifted it, but I need to remember to press S on my keyboard and make sure I'm on frame 1. Oh, let me actually pop myself out of the way here. It might be best if I keep myself up here for this particular video. About there will work. Alright, so now I've got my timeline visible down here at the bottom, right? And I set a keyframe on the first frame, and I set a keyframe on the first frame here. We're going to do this about every 4 frames, give or take. You know, it depends on the pace of your character walking and so on and so forth, but we'll do about every 4 frames. So now I've got that done. I'm only going to worry about 3 controls here: the root control, the left foot control, the right foot control, 5, and the knee controls, 2 knee controls. But we're going to do the knee controls last. We'll come back to the knees. So anyway, I'm going to just continue pushing forward with this. And the root control actually, for every movement you make, every single one in animation, pretty much I can't think of one that wouldn't involve the root control. So every time you set in a keyframe, this root should be moving some way or another. And I'm going to bring it down just a little bit, just shift that weight down because we're making contact. And I could even bring this leg a little bit further, right? And bring this one back a little bit, and bring the ball raise up a little bit. And then I'll just tap S, and maybe even, I don't know, maybe a little bit more. And make sure you tap S. Okay. The other thing I can do is his feet are just really sort of spread. So I can bring his feet in a little bit, and I'm going to save that actually for the end, along with the knees, because it just gets kind of we wouldn't walk normally like that with our legs spread farther apart than needed, unless we're doing something goofier, you know, depending on the character design and stuff like that. But in this particular one, we're gonna make that adjustment later. Now I'm gonna continue pushing forward, and I'm gonna scrub on my timeline to about frame, I don't know, 4. So we start on 1, we'll go to 4. Alright, so now we can always jump back and take a look at this, and you'll see my next pose is the down pose. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that. And my down pose, I'm going to set my heel to 0. And I'm going to set this down even more. And make sure you tap S every time. And now I'm going to come back here, take another look at it. And I'll see that I've got to make my rear foot more like on the toe side. So I'll just go ahead and minimize that. And now, instead of doing the ball raise, I could do it more, but then I'm just technically bending the toes even more. Whereas in the example, I can bring this down, and I can go to now my toe raise and bring that up. Right? And set that keyframe. And I can even bring this a little bit forward to sort of even out that weight distribution because we're falling forward. And I'm going to tap S on the root control. So now we go here. So there's our basically our first 2 poses, right? So next one I'll go, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 7? We'll go to 7. Now we're going to take a look and do our passing position. So the passing position, a little bit higher, but you'll notice that the feet actually, this foot comes center gravity, but you'll notice he's leaning forward a little bit. And we can do that on a final touch-up pass, but for now we're just going to stick with this. And I'm going to bring this leg, and if I bring translate Z to 0, that was super weird. And set keyframe. It could be because I'm in this. Bring it down. But I do want to see how the texture deforms. So it could have been just my viewport acting up, plus some screen recording. So I just brought my translate Z to 0 because I know that's going to center my character out. And now I'm going to bring this one. I'll keep where it is, and I'll bring my toe raise to 0. And now I'm going to bring this leg up. I'm going to rotate it, bring it forward, and I'm going to bring this character backward, and I'm also going to bring him up. So I got my passing position. I'll bring this down a little bit, maybe. This is all sort of depending on how you want it to look. And I'm going to go ahead and say that's pretty good for now. And I'm going to tap S. And I think this jumped back because I didn't hit S before. Bring this to 0. Bring this up a little bit more. And I can even bring this down a little bit. And rotate a little bit. And this should be my passing position. Now I'm not worried about the arms at all yet. I'll come back to the arms. I'm just worried about the 2-foot controls and the root control. So now we're just going to scrub through this really quickly and take a look. And we see our character starting to get the walk going. So now we were on 7. We'll go to 10, I guess. And that'll be fine. So now I'll take another look at my image here, and I've got the up position. So he starts to push up, right? So the up position, I'll notice right away that his foot is his body's leaning forward, and we have some toe bend here, and the leg is starting to maneuver forward on the back side here, the dark side. So I'll come back here. I'm going to add my ball raise, but I also noticed that his foot actually comes back here because we're starting to get this lean forward. And give it a little bit more, and I'm going to set a keyframe. And now I'm going to bring this, check where I have it here. Yep. So I'm going to bring this, I'm going to leave it where it is for the moment, and I'm going to bring this leg forward and rotate the ankle and kind of just see where it goes. Now let's just jump back real quick and take a look. So that's getting there. I can even bring it down a little bit, and if I want, I can even give this a little bit of a rotation, maybe even a little bit forward, and tap S. And now we've got our character almost taking his first step. Now we're going to take this foot, and we are going to bring translate Y to 0. Just let me see if I just switch this. It doesn't like it when I'm, there it goes, in the high quality renderer. And rotate we're going to bring to 0. And then we're also going to jump back, take a quick look, and we'll see that we are making contact again, but on the opposite foot. So now we're going to take our heel raise and bring that up, and we'll also bring it forward, and we're going to bring this down. And I can even, kind of disorient the rotate there. And now I've got my character here almost basically completing his first step. Bring that back a little bit more maybe. And if I take a look at this really quickly, I've got frame 1, frame 4, frame 7, frame 10, frame 13, and I've just completed the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 poses I need. So contact, down, make sure this is at 0. Oh, make sure it's at 0. Oh, there we go. I was on the wrong frame. And then contact, down, passing position, up, and contact. So the next position is the down pose. So let me zoom out a little bit. And this is actually really, really useful here in the side viewport to see if he's walking right. And I'd say so far so good, because we're only worried about looking at the legs at the moment. We're only focused on the legs. And I'd say that's starting to look pretty good. Right? So what was I on? 13. We'll jump 16 or 17. Okay. So now what I can do is I will bring this. I'm doing my down pose, so I need this to go to 0. I'll set key pose. I'll select my other one, and I'm going to take the ball raise and bring it to 0, but I'm going to take the toe raise and bring that up. I'm going to bring this controller back a little bit. And let me just double check I got that right. The down pose, yes. Alright. And then I have to make sure that I bring this down as well, because his gravity, his weight is shifting him downward. So contact, down, we'll go passing, and now we'll take this, I'll bring this to 0. It just doesn't like it when I do that, huh? There it goes. Super weird. And now I'm going to bring that up, and I'm on frame 19, and I'm just setting keyframes here. And we'll go here, translate this to 0 for now, and turn down the toe raise, and bring up the leg, and rotate it, and just shimmy it into place a little bit, and be a little bit more, because this is the passing position, and can be a little bit more on the ankle. Something like so. And then we'll go ahead and press S, and now we've got our passing position, and let me make sure I got my root control animated here. I do. So contact, down, passing position, up, contact, down, passing position, and now we'll go to up. So now the up pose, this leg comes forward, something like so, maybe down a little bit. This leg is going to come back a little bit, but we're going to add some ball raise to that, and bring it back a little bit more, and we're going to bring this up just a shimmy, and then we're going to rotate it a little bit, if I remember correct. Yep. And now I want to just set keyframes on all of these, and I've got my contact, down, passing position, up, contact, down, passing position, up. And now for the last one on frame 25, we're going to take frame 1, and we're going to just middle mouse button click on frame 1 on each one of these controls, middle mouse button click and hold, drag to frame 25 and press S. We're going to do the same thing on this one, on the opposite foot. Hold middle mouse button click, click and drag, frame 25, release, tap S to set keyframe. Same thing with this one. Hold middle mouse button click on the root control, shift over to here, tap S, and now I've got my walk cycle. Oh, I think I messed that up. I just undid that because I think I dragged it to the wrong frame. So let me just see. And now what I'm going to do is, you see these numbers down here, right here? I'm going to set this to be 25. So now I'm also going to right click on my play button and go to Playback Speed, and I'm just going to do real time. Alright, and now I'll hit play, and our character is walking. Now, one of the quick things to notice is that on frame 25 and frame 1, we have the same frame playing twice. So if you want to sort of get an exact real feel for it, put frames 24 even though we have 25 keyframes. So that 25th frame doesn't play twice in a row on the loop. So I'm going to hit play. And sure, it could probably use a little work, but he's walking. So for this video, we could go a little bit more in detail, but I think I'm going to save that for a cleanup pass. And for now, just try to get your legs animating. And don't forget to take a look. I mean, you can take a look at it here. Pause the video if you need to or something, and then whatever you need to do. But you can also look up walk cycle poses. They're all over the net, and I'm sure you'll find something. If not, you can find the same exact one, or you can even find something extremely similar. So, and again, your character doesn't have to walk just like mine. You could do a different walk. You could add a lot of character to it. But I just wanted to show you these base key poses. Just to sort of show you the bare basics of this. So anyway, that's all I've got for you in this particular video. Our character's starting to walk, and in the next video we're going to, it's a little choppy, a little, but we're going to clean that up, fix it up, and we'll get back to it. So other than that, I don't have any more to include in this. Just try to get your legs animating and making steps to walking. I know it looks a little weird, but we're going to clean this up and make it look nice. So anyway, if you have any questions, shoot me a message on inbox. Just don't forget to set two things that are really commonly sort of forgotten when doing this project. Number one, you're going to forget to scrub through the timeline. And number two, you're going to forget to press S on the keyboard when creating keyframe. Once you get into that habit, it kind of flies. And you wouldn't even need to watch this video maybe just to get a quick feel for it, but you just pull up that walk cycle pose and you should be able to just do each frame like I did every 3-4 frames or whatever, set a keyframe on each one of the controllers and you should be good. Other than that, we can always take a look at the knee controllers and the rest of it in the future, but in the next video we're going to get the arms animating. Other than that, thanks again for watching. Message me with any questions, and stay tuned for the next one.